breaking now at 11.
What the is going on?
A man steals an armored personnel carrier from Fort Pickett and leads police on a high-speed chase that ends 60 miles later in Richmond.
New information tonight about the suicide of fashion designer Kate Spade and the family she leaves behind.
I'm here by the grace of God and His mercy.
And a grandmother shot trying to shield children in a Petersburg drive-by is talking to NBC 12 tonight from her hospital bed.
On your side, NBC 12 News at 11 starts with breaking news.
And that breaking news out of Richmond, where a chase involving a stolen military vehicle starts in Nottoway County and ends in downtown Richmond. It's one of the more unusual chases we've ever seen. In fact, it had many of you calling our newsroom tonight and posting videos like these on my Facebook page.
The chase just ended about an hour ago at the intersection of East Broad and 11th Street. That's where our Brent Solomon is live. And Brent, bring us up to speed on what happened.
Yeah, NBC 12, the first to tell you about this one after my sources tipped me off on exactly what was happening. Let me get out of the way right now. And here you can see that military vehicle right now stopped along Broad Street, not far from 11th Street. I can tell you that the person driving that vehicle is a military official, and within just the past few seconds, I've learned he had to be tased because officers said he would not obey their commands. Again, this all really unfolding within the past hour, that suspect being taken into custody. I want to get you straight to some video right now. Many of you have been sending in videos to our newsroom and, of course, uploading them on social media, showing that armored vehicle actually passing through neighborhoods, through the inner city streets of Richmond, and at one point even on I-95 North, coming from the Dinwoody area. What I can tell you is that this military vehicle belongs to the Virginia National Guard. State police having to get involved in this one when the driver would not stop. The driver following, I should say police following that driver all the way into Richmond, again, where all of this came to an end not far from City Hall on Broad Street. Let's take you back live now. No word yet on what that military official will be charged with. I can tell you he is in police custody at this hour. Of course, we're all over this one. As soon as we learn more, I'll be sure to pass it on to you now. When I first arrived on scene, I went straight to Facebook. So if you check out my Facebook page, you'll hear some more reactions from people in the area who saw all of this craziness. Quite a situation that we can say with certainty doesn't happen here every day. We're live on your side in the city of Richmond now. Brent Solomon, NBC 12.
Boy, that's the truth. Thanks, Brent. Tonight, a story you'll see only on NBC 12. There's a Petersburg grandma shot trying to shield some young children in a drive-by opens up from her hospital bed.
63-year-old Sherry Dabney is recovering after relatives say a bullet lodged an inch away from her heart. When it comes to the shooter, Dabney has a powerful message that she's only sharing with our Brent Solomon, new at 11.
I'm here by the grace of God and His mercy.
After being released from ICU Tuesday, you'd think Sherry Dabney would be furious. She was the unintended target of gunfire. Instead, she's saying this to the gunman.
First of all, I want to just tell them I forgive them. I forgive them.
Still recovering at VCU Medical, Dabney was on her front porch Sunday when two cars sped down St. Mark Street near Melville Street in Petersburg, shooting at each other. Children were in the yard, so Dabney tried to get them out of harm's way.
She said, get the kids in the house, get the kids, everybody come in the house, get the kids.
Glenda Jones watched as her sister was shot.
She said, I'm hit, I think I'm hit. Her son told me that the doctor said that she shouldn't even be here. 9mm.
The bullet lodged next to her heart.
Kind of like gets upset when she think about the bullet being still in her and they not being able to get it out.
Petersburg police continue to search for the shooters. Two cars were involved, a red or burgundy Dodge Charger and a champagne or tan-colored Mercury Sable or Milan.
I can't say why it happened. I'm not going to question God about why it happened.
But there's one thing she knows with certainty.
I have to forgive them in order for me to keep my power that I have.
They think it's a game. They don't have no regards for life. You know, they need to stop. I just thank God my sister's here.
On your side in Petersburg, Brent Solomon, NBC 12.
And neighbors have noticed an increased presence or police presence in the area where the shooting happened. Gabney is expected to be released from the hospital tomorrow.
Right now, a live look across Richmond where it was a mild day. Some clouds did move through early, but so far it's been a quiet night. The question now, will it stay that way? Let's go to meteorologist Jim Duncan for an update. Jim?
Yeah, firstly, it's comfortable. We have temperatures around 70 most of the area. This is our JS Weather Night compilation of some temperatures in Mechanicsville, Midlothian. Here at the station, all around the 70-degree mark. Light east-southeasterly winds, but have been kind of variable this evening. I thought we would see some showers this evening, but obviously we haven't, which is good news. We need to dry out. This is a close-up look at our Doppler radar scan. The bigger scan showing some showers trying to cover over the mountains, but there's fairly dry air, and with these westerly winds aloft, that tries to suppress the moisture. In other words, we're not seeing a lot of these develop. I'm not totally ruling out some showers overnight, but I do think the chances have gone down quite a bit as the front comes in from the north. So that's the front moving in overnight tonight. It'll drop to the south early. Our low temperature tonight right around 59 degrees. It'll be nice and comfortable for you early tomorrow morning. We're going to keep a slight shower or maybe a rumble of thunder chance in the forecast overnight, 20% as the actual front comes through. But the bigger takeaway behind that front will be some fairly nice spring weather coming up for June. At least it's going to be really nice. And maybe some rain this weekend. All the details in your updated forecast ahead. Kurt?
All right, we'll check back. Thank you, Jim. We're learning more tonight about how authorities tracked down the man accused of abducting his 7-month-old daughter. But first, a new photo of 7-month-old Emma Grace Kennedy back home with her family tonight. This was taken in a North Carolina hospital where she was checked out before being released to her mom. We also have new information on the arrest of the baby's father. Heather Sullivan in the First Alert Center with that. Heather.
Yeah, investigators say Carl Ray Kennedy was arrested after a neighbor says she called 911. The Randolph County Sheriff says that a team of deputies, police, and federal agents surrounded the home and went in where they found Kennedy and Emma Grace inside. A neighbor who made that call to police describes what she saw.
They had taped it all off. They wouldn't let me in, and they brought him out the front door, and they had him out here. Emma was happy-go-lucky. She was fine, laughing, da. He didn't harm her. I'm just thankful the child is safe, because how much longer could he have went? He would have run out of money. He had nowhere to go. He had no friends. He had nobody.
Emma Grace and her mother are back in Danville tonight. Her family released a statement saying, in part, "We are so grateful to have Emma Grace back home, healthy and safe with us again." The family also thanked everyone who helped bring her home. Meanwhile, no word yet on when Kennedy will be arraigned or extradited back to Danville. That's the latest right now in the First Alert Center. Heather Sullivan, NBC 12 News.
All right, thanks, Heather. And now to the latest on the apparent suicide of fashion icon Kate Spade. The designer, who's known for her sleek handbags, was found dead in her Manhattan apartment this morning. Investigators say a housekeeper found her body and a suicide note was left at the scene, reportedly with a special message for her 13-year-old daughter. It reads in part, "This has nothing to do with you. Don't feel guilty. Ask your dad." Well, her death prompted an outpouring of grief from fans and the fashion industry.
Our customer is someone who has a very personal sense of style and really is buying what they like. I think that's who I've always spoken to, and I think that's always who's been attracted to my designs.
While circumstances surrounding her death are still under investigation, local mental health experts say her death brings up an important conversation that we all should be having. AJ Nwoku is speaking with the experts, new at 11.
The death of an icon.
Hi, I'm Kate Valentine Spade.
At 55, Kate Spade took her own life Tuesday morning. As the nation wrestles with the idea of how such a prolific fashion figure could commit suicide.
When it happens to a celebrity, I think people are caught off guard a little bit. Maybe that's part of the stigma.
Jeff Conley with the National Association of Mental Illness says
it's okay to not be okay. And we want people to understand that help is out there. It's estimated that 90% of people who die by suicide have a treatable underlying mental health condition.
Well, there is no way to know if mental illness was a contributing factor to Spade's suicide. Conley says her death addresses an important conversation we should have more often.
That because they're famous and have a lot of money, that somehow they don't fit the bill. But I don't know that depression and suicide has a bill or a look.
Conley wants people to understand that suicide doesn't discriminate. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the U.S., accounting for nearly 45,000 deaths annually. In Virginia, suicide is the 11th leading cause of death and the 8th leading cause of death for ages 55 to 64. As Spade's death shined a spotlight on this important issue, Conley said if you fear that someone you know may have suicidal tendencies, the best thing to do is ask that person directly and seek professional help.
We all have a responsibility to each other as human beings to make sure that we can combat these issues that are so common.
On your side in Richmond, AJ Nwoko, NBC 12 News.
Thanks, AJ. And if you or someone you love needs help, you can always call the National Suicide Hotline. That number is 1-800-273-TALK. Now, there's also a crisis text line as well.
Now in Henrico, the father of an 8th grader beaten in the head with a rubber mallet says he doesn't believe enough was done to protect his son. We first alerted you about the attack at Hungary Creek Middle School over the weekend. Cell phone video taken Friday shows a student bashing a classmate over the head with the mallet right in the middle of class. The father, who wishes to stay anonymous, says someone sent him the video. He says his son is fine and now back at school, but he's upset that no one stood up for him like he did for a fellow classmate.
He's angry, I guess, at some of his peers that they didn't step in and help him because he was taking up for this little girl who was being bullied.
A spokesperson for Henrico Public Schools tells NBC 12, quote, the school division will continue to work directly with the students and families involved to address concerns. The school system also says students were asked to delete the videos.
New at 11, a Northern Virginia couple wants to help save lives, and they're doing it through a simple creation. It's called Not Reaching. It's simply an identification pouch for your vehicle that holds your driver's license, registration, and insurance card, all of the documents police officers ask for during traffic stops. Jackie and Wayne Carter came up with the idea after seeing national news coverage of traffic stops that turned deadly, like those of Sandra Bland and Philando Castile. The Carters say they simply want everyone to ride away safely when stopped by police.
We're in such a tumultuous time right now that we have to be ready and vigilant on everything that we do, including traffic stops. So I thought that having the Not Reaching pouch would at least take away one of the reasons why this was happening during motor vehicle stops.
The Coatesville Police Department in Pennsylvania actually keeps these pouches inside of their vehicles to give out to motorists during traffic stops. So if you'd like to learn more about Not Reaching, look for this story on our website.
Caught on camera, police come up with an interesting way to stop an armed robbery. The video coming up.
And a teen tries to start a new tradition among Capitals fans. Why it's unusual and involves seafood after the break.
Watching this next cold front coming to Virginia tonight with some scattered showers. Tracking that, and the temperature changes ahead. Coming up in your forecast next.
This is breaking news from NBC 12.
We continue to follow that breaking news out of downtown Richmond, where a military vehicle chase that spans several counties ends in the middle of the city on Broad Street. The unusual chase started at Fort Pickett and ended at the intersection of East Broad and 11th Street.
So let's send it back now to Brent Solomon. He was the first one to break this story. And Brent, what's the latest?
Carla, Kurt, a lot of folks out here saying they simply can't believe this. And now, even now, hours after the ordeal, we still have a huge presence of spectators just outside watching, wondering what on earth is going on. I can tell you that the person who was driving this military vehicle, which is behind me, is a military personnel. And right now, he's at a local hospital because officers say they had to use a taser on him when they say he wouldn't comply with orders. Earlier today, I caught up with a state police representative about the moments that led to this ordeal.
The vehicle was driven east of Route 460 and then northbound on Interstate 95 at a max speed of approximately 40 miles per hour. It never exceeded that speed limit. The Virginia State Police began pursuit of the vehicle since receiving the initial report and traveled along with it from Nottoway County to the city of Richmond.
All right, let's show you that video right now. Many of you posting on social media and, of course, sending it to our newsroom when you saw this unusual military vehicle driving through neighborhoods and through the streets of Richmond. I want to go ahead and take you back live now to give you a look of what's unfolding right now at Broad Street and 11th Street. We're not far from City Hall. In fact, the vehicle is parked right in front of the VCU Children's Hospital. Again, this armored vehicle belongs to the Virginia National Guard, and authorities tell me that the military personnel who took off in this vehicle will be facing criminal charges. Again, right now, he's undergoing treatment at a local hospital after being tased by police when they say he wouldn't obey their orders. Of course, we'll continue following this one for you throughout the night and into the morning. Your only source is NBC 12. Live in Richmond on your side, Brent Solomon, back to you.
All right, Brent, thank you. Caught on camera, Florida police used canned goods to arrest a hammer-wielding suspect. This surveillance video shows an officer actually throwing some canned beans to distract the suspect long enough for police to move in and arrest him. 25-year-old Justin Stanford was taken to the hospital. He's been charged with assault with a deadly weapon on a law enforcement officer, as well as assault. That suspect also accused of trying to take a deputy's gun while in the hospital.
Portsmouth police released this surveillance video that shows a man stealing rims and tires from an auto shop. This happened back in April at Import Auto Works. The video shows a man wandering through the parking lot. Police say in all, he grabbed $1,000 worth of tires and rims. That man remains on the run tonight.
New at 11, a high schooler hopes he can start a new tradition for the Washington Capitals home games. During Game 3 Saturday, someone threw a crab out onto the ice as the team celebrated its win. The Capitals actually tweeted a picture and asked who did it. 15-year-old Jack Merritt claimed responsibility, even creating a Twitter account for the Caps crab. The tricky part, he says, was sneaking that crab inside Capital One Arena.
I wore 2 pairs of underwear and put the crab in a Ziploc bag, put the crab in between the 2 pairs of underwear, and then I got through security pretty easily.
That's pretty scary to put it in your pants to bring it to the game, because it's still pointy, you know.
Yikes. That crab was not alive by the time it was thrown onto the ice, needless to say. No crabs were thrown last night. Game 5, by the way, tomorrow night in Las Vegas, but you can watch it here on NBC 12.
Accurate, reliable breaking weather specialists. This is NBC 12 First Alert Weather.
Right now, Richmond is 69 degrees. Dew points are creeping up a little bit, so it's getting a tad more humid, but regional readings not bad at all. Lower 70s, upper 60s. On our way down to some upper 50s later on tonight. Your morning commute weather looks great. Sun comes up a little before 6 o'clock. No weather impacts expected. Around 60-ish early tomorrow morning. Mostly sunny skies, so uneventful weather-wise, I think, early tomorrow morning. There is a front dropping in from the north tonight. Some scattered showers on the radar scopes, but I tell you, it's hard to find any around this part of the state. We still may squeak out a shower or two as the front comes through. Here's the cold front coming into Maryland right now. It'll be dropping south of Virginia overnight. And as it moves through the state, I think that could enhance our chance for a shower or two maybe in the next 2 hours. I'll keep it now at about 20% chance of that. But nice low humidity, that's evidenced by the dew points. The lower these numbers, anything below 60 is nice. We're seeing 40s and 50s to our north. So that's that dry air coming into the area for tomorrow. It'll be nice and comfortable. Temperatures will actually fall a little bit tomorrow versus what we had today. We were in the low 80s today. Now, the model forecast for tonight is showing some showers here at midnight, but so far we're not seeing any of that coming in from the west, so I think this is really overdoing it. I will keep a 20% chance in tonight. Tomorrow morning we have some variable cloudiness. We'll call it partly cloudy around shortly after sunrise. Nice and cool tomorrow through much of the day. Noon hour looks nice and comfortable. Great day to eat your lunch outdoors perhaps. 70s for your highs, mid or upper 70s. Average highs now are in the low 80s, so, you know, that's pretty nice. Partly sunny skies, maybe a sprinkle or two off to the east tomorrow evening. Otherwise, Thursday looking pretty good as well. We'll have a good bit of sunshine, in fact, more sunshine, and temperatures around 80, 81 degrees for the high. And then the humidity comes back in full force starting Friday, and the temperatures go up as well. Let's start with your forecast tomorrow. High 77 degrees. The temperature's nice throughout most of the day, and I think at the most will be maybe 77, maybe not even getting up to that level. Then your first alert 7-day forecast, pleasant for Thursday. Look at the low tomorrow night, 56. More humid conditions come into the area for Friday with highs around 88 degrees. Saturday and Sunday, upper 80s, storm chances increase. I think we may be underdoing this chance for Sunday. New guidance just coming in shows a pretty good bet for some rain Sunday afternoon. And then some unsettled weather continues through Monday and Tuesday. We'll have more news ahead.
The Town Bank Sports Desk, sponsored by Town Bank. This is your town, this is your bank.
It is win or go home for local high school teams still fortunate enough to be playing. State quarterfinal action taking center stage today with a handful of area squads still very much in the hunt. Let's start on the baseball field. Deep Run hosting Maury in Class 5. Wildcats in a 3-0 hole before even coming to bat, but battle back. This Brooks Maisie RBI double, trimming the deficit to 3-1. Next batter, Eli Wisner. He'll drop a single into center. Maisie comes in to score, and Deep Run is within a run after a frame. Same score in the second. Hayes fallen on the first pitch he sees, smoking it to left with a man on second, plates that tying run, and Deep Run continuing its Cinderella season, 8-6 the final over Maury. Wildcats face Prince George Friday in the state semis. Class 6 softball, Manchester taking on First Colonial. Lancers manufacturing a run in the first. Brooke Childress swiping second base in safely on the steal. Next batter, it pays off. Natalie Murphy going up and getting one. Finds a hole on the left side, scores Childress, and it's 1-0. Molly Grube lights out on the mound. Here gets the punch out, and Manchester heading to the state semis. 2-1 win over First Colonial. Lancers face Grassfield Friday morning at Deep Run. Well, meanwhile, Atlee boys lacrosse just 2 wins shy of state gold. The Raiders taking their home field for the state semifinals after a bye thanks to a Region B title win. Briarwood standing between Atlee and a Saturday championship game. First quarter, Raiders find themselves in a hole. Nathan Jensen makes the move, going top shelf, finds the back of the net, 2-0. Atlee coming right back. The long stick, Walker Everhart running the field, firing and scoring. Raiders on the board, 2-1. To the second quarter, Aiden Shields coming from behind the net. He'll beat the keeper for the goal, ties the game at 2. This would be a nail-biter the entire way, but Briarwood's a little bit more. Raiders fall 8-7, bringing their stellar season to an end in the state semifinals. Back to state quarterfinal action. Cosby and First Colonial in boys soccer picked this one up in the second half. Cosby up 1-0, looking for more. Otis Smith going to feed it inside to Ben Jones. He'll find the back of the net. Titans go up by 2. First Colonial not giving up, down 3 with 5 to play. Chris Bartolomea corrals the ricochet off the post, puts the visitors on the board with that goal there. They would add one more, but it would not be enough. Cosby adding this goal in stoppage time to put First Colonial away, 4-2, and the Titans advance. Over in Class 4, Midlothian playing host to Grafton into the second half now, and it's Grafton with the 1-0 lead. Justin Varela trying to kickstart the Trojan offense. His pass headed right to the Grafton keep. Then it's Grafton looking to score. Yul Theodoros with the long pass here, but the header missing wide. Midlothian with opportunities in this match. Tyler White with the breakaway, but Andrew Savachik comes up with the save, and Grafton ends Midlow's season tonight with a 2-0 win. Well, 2 local products coming off the board last night in the first 2 rounds of the Major League Baseball first-year player draft. Today, rounds 3 through 10 taking place, and another area pitcher takes that leap into the pros. Hanover graduate Derek Casey taken in the 9th round by the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs also drafting Casey out of high school, but the right-hander opting to head to UVA instead. Casey emerging as the Cavaliers' ace this season, moving into that Friday night starting pitcher's role. UVA's Andy Weber also going to the Cubs in the 5th round, and Wahoo closer Bennett Souza picked by the White Sox in the 10th round. A lot of Wahoos headed to that Windy City. And the Richmond Kickers run in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open coming to an end in the 4th round. Richmond routed by the Philadelphia Union tonight 5-0. The Kickers return to USL action this Saturday at City Stadium, hosting Charleston. Richmond entering Saturday 7 points back of a playoff spot. And that is sports. We're back after this.
This is breaking news from NBC 12.
One final update tonight before we leave you on that breaking news we've been following all night. State police say a man stole that armored personnel carrier from Fort Pickett and then led police on a chase that would end on East Broad Street in Richmond.
State police say there were no crashes in connection with this chase, and charges are pending against the driver, who has not yet been identified. So, of course, we'll continue to stay on top of this story and have more updates coming up on 12 News Today, starting bright and early at 4:30 a.m. Have a great night.
We'll see you tomorrow.